Permit me to start with a popular phrase by the legendary musician Fela, "Water no get enemy." Indeed, looking at the context of that phrase, it is critical, especially when some communities are faced with lack of access to clean water and poor sanitation, which poses environmental and health risk. The federal government recognizes these challenges and has reaffirmed its commitment to the successful implementation of the World Bank-supported Sustainable Urban and Rural Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene, that is SOWASH program, an initiative set to revolutionize Nigeria's approach to ensuring universal access to sustainable and safe water supply, sanitation, hygiene services, to strengthen sector institutions and participating states, now from 7, with plans ongoing to onboard 10 new states into the SOWASH initiative, increasing participating states to 17. The goal is to achieve dynamic results-based strategy while driving impactful changes with a dual-component investment of $700 million for over 6 years. So as we explore progress and challenges of the SOWASH program, what is the sustainability plan of the program, especially for communities, schools and healthcare facilities that have been impacted? Tonight on Weekend File, the focus is water for all, states taking the lead in federal government's SOWASH program. And our guest is Mr. Benson Atta, National Coordinator, Society for Water and Sanitation. In the meantime, thank you for joining us. I'm Ruth Aguele, and this is Weekend File. Before we delve into the spring of life, let's begin with the news. President Bola Tinubu is back in Abuja after participating in the Akaba Process Heads of State and Government meeting in Rome, Italy. The presidential flight landed at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport at approximately 7:30 this Saturday evening. He was welcomed by top government officials, including the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, FCT Minister Yesam Wike, Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila. The Akaba Process is a counter-terrorism initiative launched by His Majesty King Abdullah II of Jordan in 2015. The Rome edition of the Akaba meeting, attended by the Nigerian president, focused on strengthening regional and international collaboration in the fight against terrorism and violent extremism, with particular attention to West Africa. Many heads of state and government also attended, including King Abdullah II of Jordan, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, and the presidents of Chad, Paraguay, Sierra Leone and Togo, among others. On the sidelines of the event, President Tinubu held bilateral meetings with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, King Abdullah of Jordan, and U.S. President Donald Trump's senior advisor on Arab and African affairs, Masad Boulos. In other news, the Defense Headquarters has refuted what it described as a false and misleading report, insinuating that the cancellation of activities marking Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary was linked to an alleged attempted military coup. A statement by the Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Tukur Gusau, further described as unfounded the recent report announcing the arrest of 16 officers currently under investigation for professional misconduct. The statement stressed that the claims by the reports are entirely erroneous and intended to cause unnecessary tension and distrust among the populace. The statement affirmed that the decision regarding the cancellation of the 65th Independence Anniversary Parade was to allow President Tinubu to attend a strategic bilateral meeting outside the country and for members of the armed forces to sustain the momentum of the fight against terrorism, insurgency and banditry. The DHQ reassured Nigerians that the ongoing investigation involving the 16 officers is a routine internal process aimed at ensuring discipline and professionalism is maintained within the ranks, and an investigative panel has been constituted and its findings will be made public. The DHQ urged members of the public to disregard the falsehood being circulated by the purveyors of misinformation. The armed forces of Nigeria remain loyal to the Constitution and the federal government under the leadership of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Let's talk health. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, says global health leaders are aligning on the need for developing countries to exit dependency on enhancing public investments in health infrastructure while courting win-win finance for bankable private sector-led projects that enable self-sufficiency. Professor Pate made this known as he engages major international finance institutions and philanthropies on the sidelines of the World Bank and IMF 2025 annual meetings in Washington, D.C.
We also had an opportunity to engage with the CEO of Wellcome Trust. We shared ideas as to how the political decisions will be made at the global level, at the regional level, and at the country level to ensure that countries take control of their destiny and are supported to fulfill the aspirations of their populations. Again, recognizing that the reforms undertaken by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu are really being acknowledged globally. And I think Nigerians will be very proud of it.
The coordinating minister further stated that President Tinubu's targeted macroeconomic and regulatory reforms are specifically designed to enhance investor confidence across sectors. And still staying in Washington, D.C., Governor of the CBN has announced commitment of the federal government to invest in fintech to drive innovation, inclusion and growth. The governor, who led Nigeria's delegation to Washington, D.C. for the World Bank and IMF annual meetings, is enthusiastic, we hear, on Nigeria's assumption of leadership of the G24. Moplank Dakok will tell us more.
As the meetings wrapped up, one of the key highlights is Nigeria taking over the G24 chairmanship.
Succeeding Argentina, Nigeria will formally assume office on November 1st, 2025, unveiling an ambitious agenda that reflects the priorities of developing nations. This milestone underscores international confidence in Nigeria's leadership and our growing influence in shaping the global financial architecture.
With the rising prominence of stable coins in global finance, Nigeria is expanding partnerships to advance fintech innovations and regulatory frameworks.
There is broad recognition that Nigeria's reforms are delivering results. Inflation is moderating, the exchange rate has stabilized, and investor confidence is returning.
Job creation also featured prominently in discussions.
Now we are prioritizing investments into infrastructure, into digital economy, into agriculture. And Nigeria also joined the World Bank in the AgriConnect program that is going to scale innovation in the agri space, including use of blended finance to support women and youth-led businesses in the agri sector. This is actually some of the initiatives of the World Bank that we think will catalyze the sort of job creation and job growth that we're seeing.
The CBN governor reaffirmed that authorities are committed to sustaining stability, deepening reforms, and ensuring that policy outcomes translate into tangible improvements in the lives of Nigerians. In Washington, D.C., Moplank Dakok, NTA News.
And back home, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says members of the All Progressives Congress have the mandate to protect the integrity of elections at all levels. The The minister, who is the chairman APC Niger South Senatorial Campaign Council, ahead of the November 2025 local government council election in Niger State, advocates an issue-based campaign. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Since 2015, local government elections have remained consistent in Niger State. These enthusiastic politicians and stakeholders from Zone A, Niger South Senatorial District, being led by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, have shown commitment to a purposeful conduct before, during, and after the elections. They assured electorates that the dividends of democracy are guaranteed under APC rule.
But again, we wanted to dance and sing. Unfortunately, because of the incidents that has happened to our brothers and sisters in Niger North, we have decided to scale that down, and we pray that all those bandits have attacked. We pray to God that God will give them succor, and I want to assure them that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has a renewed commitment to ensure the safety of lives and property of all Nigerians. You can see that there is enough fiscal headroom created by the reform of Mr. President so that both the federal government and the subnationals will have enough resources to deliver dividends of democracy to the people of Nigeria. And the people of Niger State have absolute faith in the APC, and we hope and we believe that the next local government election is a test of that strong belief that and determination of Niger people to deliver APC once again.
Upholding the integrity of elections at all tiers of government, the minister assured, is a strong policy of the APC administration under President Bola Tinubu.
The president's message is that no one's blood is worth anybody's position in this country. We do not want any bloodshed as a result of any electioneering or any election in this country. So my message once again, please imbibe the spirit of brotherhood. See yourself as your brother's keeper.
Zone A, Niger South Senatorial District, has 8 local governments and 88 wards. In Bida, Niger State, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
The need to diversify the nation's revenue sources ensure that revenues due to the Federation account from the mining sector are remitted to the Federation's distributable account as at when due, is the reason for the sensitization and implementation of new solid minerals data rendition templates by the Solid Minerals Monitoring Committee, Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission in Enugu. Blessing Anyawo will break that down for us.
Saddled with mandates that cuts across the 3 tiers of government, the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission's Solid Mineral Monitoring Committee is pushing upwards revenue generated from the country's mining sector. In a sensitization, Governor of Enugu State representatives said the gathering underscores shared commitment to improving data integrity, transparency, and accountability.
We remain fully committed to implementing the provision of the new data rendition template, strengthening institutional capacity, and fostering transparency across all levels of mineral resource management.
The new data rendition template, if properly managed, will go a long way in ensuring that mining operators and revenues thereof will be more effectively tracked.
It is therefore the responsibility of the Commission to look into areas of potentials, lapses, or discrepancies in revenue remittance into Federation account.
The gathering, which brought together key stakeholders from across the zone, will enable both the federal and state government to close leakages and ensure remittance. In Enugu, Blessing Anyawu, NTA News.
One of Nigeria's leading online banking and financial institutions, OPay, is prioritizing the security of its customers' funds with the introduction of more innovations aimed at solving challenges identified in the banking industry. Diana Ajali reports.
OPay.
From live transaction sheet, night guard, emergency lock, live transaction double check to the newly launched security feature known as location guard, Chief Commercial Officer Elizabeth Wang and Enterprise Manager say are all targeted at ensuring OPay customers' funds remain safe anywhere, anytime.
One of the key value for OPay is that always customer first. We develop all these kind of key security features for them, and we will continue to do more.
What Location Guard does is when you go to a new state that is not a familiar state that you typically visit, even you yourself cannot authorize transfers without Face ID. So if you go to that state, say I'm in Lagos State and I go to Kano, and I've never been to Kano before, what OPay will do is automatically lock my account. So when I'm there, I can only authorize transfers with Face ID. So even if they steal my phone in Kano State, nobody's transferring any money.
And for these content creators and lucky winners of my OPay Security Vote Challenge 2025, who have for 10 weeks been promoting and educating fans on the benefits of OPay security products, it is time to see my home with cash prizes. Courtesy OPay Nigeria.
My favorite feature is the large transaction double check, and I had to talk about it.
OPay, I would say God bless you. I really appreciate it for the fact that you guys really remember to give us perfect security feature. I would also to reward 1 million to each and every one of us.
More unique about my OPay Security Vote Challenge is the fact that it is being championed by 4 notable brand influencers, led by Nollywood actor Funke Akindele and Samir Anima Shau, popularly known as Brother Shaggy.
When your money is safe, you'll be confident. Your day-to-day activities will be going easy peasy.
With an app like OPay, it's very easy for you to safeguard your account. Go easy for anybody to just carry your money anyhow.
For management of OPay online financial institution, protection of customers' account, stay ahead of fraud and banking with confidence are topmost priorities. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
The governor of Cross River State, Governor Basi Edet Otu, is 66, and President Bola Tinubu celebrates with the governor on this auspicious moment. President Tinubu joins family members, friends, and associates of the governor in celebrating a legacy of leadership, service, and commitment of the governor to his people. The president expresses confidence that under Governor Otu's watch, several ongoing infrastructural projects, including the proposed Bakassi Deep Sea Port, the 700 kilometers coastal highway linking Calabar to Lagos, the 450 kilometers Trans-Sahara Superhighway to Abuja, the river port, and the free trade zone will transform Cross River into a significant hub for commerce, logistics, and tourism in West Africa. President Tinubu wishes Governor Otu continued good health. All right, so how are states keen into the federal government's SAWASH program? We're talking having access to clean water for all. That will be after the break. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned. Now, to tackle the country's significant water and sanitation issues, the federal government has embarked on an ambitious collaboration with the World Bank, launching the $700 million Sustainable Urban and Rural Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene Program, that is SAWASH. In this report, Usman Zubairu examines how the national emergency has become a performance-based investment.
The Sustainable Urban and Rural Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene, SAWASH, supported by the World Bank, is one of the programs seek to increase access to water, sanitation and hygiene services, strengthen sector institutions, as well as promote sustainable management of water resources in participating states. The program is being implemented in 7 states: Delta, Ekiti, Gombe, Imo, Kaduna, Katsina, and Plateau State. Target is to provide 6 million people with basic drinking water, also deliver improved water sanitation and hygiene wash services to 2,000 schools and healthcare facilities, in addition to assisting 500 communities achieve open defecation-free status. Now, in 3 years of implementation, a total of 58,558 persons benefited from the water supply. 5 households have improved sanitation facilities, and 21 healthcare centers and schools provided with complete wash facilities in the 7 implementing states.
They understand it as it is a repayment process, but then it was later understood that it's not repayment. It's not what you invest that you get back. Rather, you will be investing and getting more support to invest more.
We are going to engage a consultant that will work with the states in the preparation of their work plans, so that between now and the end of this year, all work plans by the states will be completed.
The Soil Watch program, inaugurated in February 2022, terminates on June 30, 2027. Usman Zubel, NTA News.
Now, the topography of Ekiti State makes it difficult for some communities to access water easily for domestic purposes and farming. With the introduction of soil wash in 7 states, we're hearing more states, about 10. Well, the program has been able to support the development of water and sanitation infrastructure to improve access to potable water in public places. Tayo Osho reports.
Feyishe Kemi Olawale, a 9-year-old student, as usual on her way from school, with her schoolmates, says she stops to take a sip alongside her mates from the mechanical handheld pump courtesy soil wash anytime they are thirsty.
My friends are coming from school. If they branch my house, I'll tell them to drink the water. That is very good.
Benefits from it, most especially rainy season. So there are so many at times it will develop faults. And some people will come for the repairing. Then again it will start working.
In alignment with the renewed hope initiative of President Bola Tinubu, Ekiti State government recently complemented the federal government's soil wash program by also ensuring that 120 schools and other rural communities, including farming settlements, have access to potable water. The novel idea of the state government is to improve water and sanitation infrastructure for the people.
It has been helpful in the sense that most of our rural dwellers that doesn't have the access to water, with the dredging of borehole and that mechanical pump, it has been given the farmers a sort of tremendous assistance.
All the soil wash programs, particularly all the water points and water provisions that are particularly meant for Ekiti states are presently going on.
Although the initiative has specially endeared itself into the hearts of the people, utilizing these facilities in public places and farming communities has not been without challenges, which they say can be solved by domesticating the project to ensure the people have an oversight. In Ado-Ekiti, Tayo Osho, NTA News.
All right, let's bring in our guests to start the conversation. How can states, or how are states taking the lead with the federal government soil wash program? Mr. Benson Attar is the National Coordinator, Society for Water and Sanitation. Thank you for joining us on Weekend File, Mr. Attar.
Thank you very much, Ruth, and thanks for having me.
I hope you've had enough water this evening.
I always do.
Okay, great. So let's look at this bold, and commendable initiative, talking about the soil wash. But what will be your assessment of the program so far?
I have to say that the soil wash strategy is the best thing that has happened to the wash sector of the country, because it's different from the previous method whereby money will be handed over to states or institutions to go implement, then the such resources will be mismanaged. But in this case, it is payment for results. You implement, present your bills, the project will be assessed, then your refunds will be made for the implementation you've carried out. And so far, the soil wash program is really making progress in some states. Particularly those states that are responsive and also that really understand the implication of having such a program in their various states, and also that love their citizens. I will have to put that in, because if you have states that do not love their citizens, like we observe in some places, you not see them benefiting from this because first the state government have to put down resources for the implementation to be carried out. After the implementation, the shore wash team will now go and carry out an assessment. Once they're satisfied with the implementation, with the result, then the refunds or payment will be made to the state. So the implementation is really on track.
Okay. It's good you ended with implementation, because recently the Minister of Water Resources came out to say the already existing 7 states who have keyed into the program, talking about the soil wash, are yet to submit work plans, which is delayed implementation. And there are plans to onboard about 10 states into the program, making it 17 states. What would you say are some of these bottlenecks hindering states, from coming out with this effective work plan? So we're seeing the full implementation of this program.
At the inception of the program, not all the states understood the mode of implementation, and it really took some of the states time to really find their feet, and particularly getting competent persons to occupy the various positions that needed to kickstart the implementation at the state level. And some of these might be the bottleneck at the state level that might hinder or the submission or bring about the delay in submitting their work plan. But I think gradually the states are picking up and getting to understand the mode of implementation, and are gradually coming up with the implementation. And where there are challenges, I'm sure through regular meetings and regular engagement with the states are also picking up with the implementation, except in those states where their principals refuse to release resources or support the implementation. Otherwise, as at now, I don't think there's any state that will say it doesn't understand the implementation, except if they have other issues hindering them.
There's also the call for enhanced, or rather improved collaboration and stakeholders' engagement. I'm sure that's part of the reason that could be a way out towards effective implementation. What are your thoughts?
If the program is implemented as planned, there won't be any hindrance. But unfortunately, some states might want to politicize the program, like bringing in people that are not fit or competent to work in the program or carry out certain activity within the sector in their state. Otherwise, if they go by the structure that have been put in place for the implementation of the state, then such state will not have any challenge in carrying out implementation. But some states tend to bring in, politicize it, thinking it's a political, the usual political practice, whereby you have to support, give back to those who supported your political allies. So that is those are the areas where you have shortcomings affecting implementation. Otherwise, if they stick to the mode of implementation and the implementation guidelines, you will not have such bottlenecks.
All right, Mr. Atta, we'll pick up with the aspect of accountability. That will be after the break. Do stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. The implementation of the federal government soil wash program in Kaduna has received an advanced, has reached an advanced stage with 48 institutions, to include communities and health centers, have benefited water and sanitation hygiene facilities across 6 local government areas of the state so far. Our correspondent Haruna Mohammed will tell us more.
With Kaduna among beneficiaries, the program seeks to strengthen existing water agencies, promote hygiene practices, and ensure sustainable management of water resources, with implementation at an advanced stage in 6 local government areas of the state, touching on communities, institutions, health centers, and hygiene facilities in both rural and urban settlements.
This facility, therefore, will go a long way in helping us to reticulate clean and safe water in one of the hostels in the camp.
Mubarak Shehu Ladan is the Director General and Chief Executive Officer, Kaduna State Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Agency.
Far so good, we've been able to implement this program in quite a number of communities across the 6 local governments in Kaduna State that is currently implementing the program. For us in Wasa, about 48 institutions have benefited. Currently, Nigeria is having this aggressive campaign, and it has reached the nooks and crannies of Nigeria. And also in that aspect, quite a number of success has been recorded because the open defecation campaign is expected to be achieved by 2030.
Residents are hopeful for a future of better health, improved hygiene, and sustainable water access. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
All right, Mr. Atta, we've seen Kaduna demonstrate stronger ownership and commitment to the Sowage program, which has been the advocacy for states to take, the stronger ownership for it. And this is in connection with the accountability I was talking about. Mr. Atta.
Yeah, just as I said earlier, the way the program has been structured is difficult to cut corners because it is what you put in, you get what you put in. So if you can't implement substandard project or carry out some substandard job and expect to be paid, because if it doesn't meet the specification, then that means you've lost whatever resources you might have put in. So the implementation has to be in line with the specification laid down by the SureWash program. And also, we should not forget that the money from the World Bank is not a gift, it's a loan. So any state playing with such should know that they are going to pay back the loan. So, and the citizens also should be the watchdog and also monitor how such implementation is carried out. It's different from the previous implementation, whereby money is handed over to the stakeholders in advance to go and implement. This one, you implement, they go back and inspect what you've done in line with whatever standard or specification you're supposed to work with. And if you meet that standard, so you get your reimbursement. So with that, the accountability is really strong. But having said that, we also expect that the state, the citizens and other stakeholders in the state should also show interest and take ownership of the implementation. Otherwise, they may be the ones to lose, because you see that in those states where the implementation is very high, you have a minimal outbreak of diseases such as cholera. But in other places where there's the implementation has been ignored, or they are not paying attention or showing as much interest as other states that are enthusiastic about the program, you see them coming down or reporting a serious outbreak of infection. So you could see that it speaks for itself. If you do well, you get good results. If you perform poorly, you see the outcome through infection, and with this, it also affects other activities in the state in terms of economic and enterprises.
Okay, Mr. Atta, just very briefly now, how can states amplify on the already existing practices, talking about hygiene practices at community level, for them to build resilience on sanitation and hygiene practices?
It's for the states to take ownership of WASH program in their various states, because without the state taking ownership and prioritizing the implementation of water, sanitation, and hygiene, you see that states will continue to have these challenges. So it's for the authorities in the various states, starting from the state governors and the commissioners, to take ownership and prioritize the implementation and show political will, because if there's political will, everybody will key in and carry out and achieve success, because now we are recording cholera outbreak in some states across the country, and this is as a result of poor water sanitation and hygiene, and that stems from open defecation. In most places, most of these places, both urban and rural areas in some states are without toilets. Even people who build houses without toilets. So you don't have if you practice open defecation, you don't expect to be free from diseases or infection. So open defecation contributes to ill health and the outbreak of diseases, because currently we have serious cases of cholera outbreak in some states across the country. Even in a particular state, as at this week, the number went to about 14,000 cases of cholera. So you can see how terrible it is. And this is as a result of open defecation. Last week, we were in a state to train stakeholders on how to intervene in cholera. Just behind the house of the community leader, you can perceive a stench of open defecation of feces. So it's a practice which all the state government and state governors particularly have to stand up to it and also face it and show love to their citizens. And it starts with you and I also, people taking responsibility for their actions. Thank you very much, Mr. Benson Atta, for your time on Weekend File. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. National Coordinator, Society for Water and Sanitation. So let's take a break. I need a sip of water. Thank you for staying with us. The good times are here for sports lovers in Africa and beyond, with the synergy between the Nigerian Television Authority and that's Africa's largest TV network and Africa's fast-growing free-to-air channel, Sporty TV. Olumide Eguntola reports that the collaboration between the two brands received a major boost when the executives of both parties met in Lagos.
Over the years, the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, through its sports channel, has brought smiles to millions of its viewers home and abroad with live telecasts of local and international sporting events. To improve this service delivery, propelled this consolidation of existing partnership with Sporty TV, Africa's fast-growing free-to-air sports channel. The presence of NTA's Director Marketing, Awani Miel, and Zonal Director, NTA Lagos Network Center, Evelyn Nwosu, speak volume of the renewed figure targeted at enhancing service delivery.
NTA, being the Nigerian Television Authority, is the biggest channel in Africa. So when we set off on a mission to bring sports to the nation, it only made sense to go directly to the biggest player. And we believe that a partnership with NTA allows us to redefine the consumption of sports content in this country. The relationship with NTA is strong and is good. Director Dembos has been very gracious with us.
Anybody that is involved in sports today, there's no way you didn't have part of that love from NTA's coverage.
They have a large reach, they have a large base, so the collaboration will go a long way in getting sports to the doorsteps and the TVs of different individuals.
The two brands are on all social media, among other platforms, satisfying their numerous viewers with the telecast of different sporting events. In Lagos, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
So NTA, check. Sporty TV, check. Best in Sports, check. Sports Update and Ayo Deji Makinde, double check. Ayo.
Thanks so much, Ruth, for the check. I'll begin with football. Mokhtar Diallo was on target as Nigeria's